Hi, this is Mrs. Prosser. Let's go through lesson 12 together. This, I think, is where it really gets fun because you're going to use keyboard inputs to do things. So this is where you really get into interactivity. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm in lesson 12 and let's take a look. It says, read the program, make a prediction about how it works. I will let you do this. I'm going to skip this. And let's take a look here. All right, this is where it gets more fun. All right, you're going to be using this key down, and you choose then which key. And when that happens, when the key is pressed down, you'll do certain things. So if we take a look at this, it says if the key is down, the H key in this case, the animation will change to the hippo. If the P key is down, it's going to change to the pig. So if I run this, it starts off with a giraffe. I'll press the H key, it changes to the hippo, and the P key, and it changes to the pig. Easy. Now, that's what this does, but it's asking you to look at that, but also add a block inside the third if statement to change it to a different animal. So you're going to do the same thing here. In this draw loop, again, it's doing this over and over. So it's checking, okay, is the H key down? Hippo. Is the P key down? Pig. Is the R key down? What should it be? I'm going to set the sprite to be R, a rabbit, since it's an R. Sure. Now, the sprite is called sprite right now, so I don't have to change it. It's just sprite. Now, if I reset and run it and press R, it changes into a rabbit. Now, here's something to keep in mind. You have a challenge here. You can change it if you want to try this challenge to have it change so that it only keeps that new animation when it's pressed down. So to do this challenge, if you want to try that out, you can, I think the easiest way to do it is to add these else statements. Or let me think. There's several ways to do this. You could then also add this key went up. That's one way to do it. You could use an else statement. You could, yeah, those are a couple ways I might try it. But you can play with this and see what works for you. Yeah, we'll learn more about else statements as we go. So let's go on to part 4. This one asks, you can change your sprite's position. This is the fun part where you have an arrow and it moves that direction. So let's try going through these steps. Add an if statement. So control is where the if statements are. Add an if statement inside your draw loop. So here's our draw loop. We have a bug variable. Looks like it's going to be a ladybug. If I run it, we have a non-moving ladybug. And it says, check whether the right arrow key has been pressed. And you're going to add code inside to move the sprite when the right arrow key is pressed. So now I'm going to add an if statement. And then these are just kind of reminding us what we need to do in that if statement. So one thing we're going to do is first we need to check, okay, is the arrow key pressed down? So that's under world. And we're checking, is the key down? And specifically we want the right key because it says the right arrow key. Is that being pressed down? If that's down, what are we doing? We're changing the X coordinate because we want it to move to the right. Now, moving it to the right, you have to think, okay, is the X increasing or decreasing to move to the right? Hopefully you're thinking it increases as it moves to the right. So now we need to say, hey, you're going to increase that value. And this is using the counter pattern. So if you're confused about the counter pattern, again, we're taking the X value and then we're setting it equal to that same X value plus a number. And that way, every time it runs, it's going to keep increasing that value. So it will redraw that sprite farther and farther along. So here, what I would do is we have sprite X. We're going to mess with the X because that is what moves it left to right. So I'll add that in here. So if it's pressed down, set the sprite, the sprite's name is bug. So I'm going to change it to bug. So bug's X position is going to be equal to, and remember we have to add. We're going to say bug's X position is equal to bug's X position plus, we'll say 1. And I need to change that to bug. Now it's going to move to the right when I press down the right arrow key. And it will stop when I don't press it. Because again, this loop is checking over and over and over, is the right arrow key pressed down? If it is, increase the X position by 1. If it's not, it's going to stop. It's not going to keep increasing it. So that's why we have it moving to the right. Now, I mean, right now it can only move to the right, which isn't that exciting. And the next ones here are where I think if you go to, when you get to 6, okay, I'll go through. Let's go back to 5. So 5, if you run this, you have the fish, and you've seen these fish before. This one is checking to see, okay, if the if statement is if the left arrow key is pressed down, then you're going to move the fish. You're only going to move the fish left if the arrow key is pressed down. So you're going to need an if statement. You're going to need to tell it, okay, when do you want it to do this stuff inside the if statement? So in this case, you'd go to world, key down, right? And we're changing it to the left arrow key because we're checking, okay, if the left arrow key is pressed down, we're going to move the fish. And then you need to figure out what's going to go in that if statement. What do you want to change if the arrow key is pressed down? So I'll let you do that and then try it out. And then the fish should only move when you're pressing the left arrow key. Next one is the gears. So you did this in a previous lesson as well. Your gears should have done this. Some people were successful, some people struggled. But if you take a look at the code here, basically we have the 3 gears moving constantly. It's just redrawing these 3 gears moving constantly. There's no if statement. So this one is you're going to add an if statement. And in that if statement, just like this is really just like the fish, you're checking in the if statement is, in this case, the space key pressed. So we're saying is, for key down, is the space key being pressed? And then you need to put in here, okay, well, what do you want to change when the space key is pressed? Okay, try that out. We're almost done with this lesson. It's pretty quick. 7, this is where you have the bug again. And so far we've made the bug move right. That's boring. You really want it to move in every direction. So this is, let's get to it. There's going to be an animation thing that is the last thing. But for now, we're just going to move the bug in each direction. So here, you're basically going to recreate this 3 more times. So you're going to have it go, okay, if it's up, go this direction. If it's down, go this direction, and so on. So let me go ahead. It says add 3 if statements, 1 for each arrow. Don't forget to include comment for each statement. Yeah, I mean, goes right. Let's try the next one goes down. Let's say the next one goes down. Let's do this one together. If key down. All right, so we want it to go down. When it's going down, we want the down arrow pressed. The next thing is, how does the bug move down? So when you press the down arrow, what is changing? So think about this. X is across, left and right. Y is up and down. So we're going to need to change the bug's Y position. So let's go ahead. We'll go back to sprites, and we're going to grab the Y because we're going to be changing the Y position. This is going to be just like this. Bug Y is equal to, and this is the counter pattern again. So we're saying it's equal to, I need to add. Now, does Y increase or decrease as it goes down? In this case, it increases. It's a little weird because remember, a normal coordinate plane, it would get more and more, it would get larger, but more negative as it goes down. So technically, it'd be subtracting normally. In this case, we're adding. So here, we're going to say bug Y. Bug Y is going to basically be increased by 1, by 1 every time it senses that the key is pressed down, the down key is pressed. So I'm going to just get rid of these. These annoy me. So then you're going to do the same thing for each key. So you're going to have to do that for 2 more keys, and I'll let you do this. But basically, it'll be something like this. You'll add some comments. So you'll need to do this for, we have right and down, goes left, and then goes up, right? So your job is going to be to figure out, okay, what key needs to be pressed for it to go left and up. Should be pretty simple. You'll use that key down. And then the hard part is, okay, what's the math? If it's going to go left, is it X or Y that's changing? And then is it subtracting or adding? I'll give you a hint. So far, we've added for both of these. So the next 2, you're going to be subtracting. And you just need to figure out, okay, is it the X or Y? So if I reset this and run it, oh, it's not going to be happy because I have these if statements that are not done. But if you check before you put in new if statements, you can test each of them out. So like if these are gone, I'll get rid of them. I can test out here. Does it actually work? Oh, my down arrow's working. My right arrow's working. So it's good to test it out as you go because then you can see, if you have a problem. Anyway, so get the other 2 arrows working. And then the last part is really fun. You're going to change the animation. So you actually will have the animation look different. So like if it goes left, it's going to change it so it looks like it's going left instead of just moving to the left backwards. So this will be whatever you've done so far. Mine only has these two directions right now. You should have 4 directions, but you're going to have to add animations. So you're going to go to the animation tab, and I don't know why it has these. Oh, these bugs, or if you want to, I think a challenge is adding more. I don't know. Whatever. Let's go ahead and focus. It says duplicate your chosen bug. Oh, because you can change which bug. I'll stick with the ladybug for now. So yeah, edit the images so it points in the 4 directions, and then you'll add the animation. So let me show you. I'm going to use this to duplicate, and I need 4 ladybugs. And I'm going to say this is going to be ladybug right, because it's looking like it's in the right direction. I'll call this ladybug left. I'll call this ladybug up, and I'll call this ladybug down. Now, you could redraw these, but honestly, you don't have to. It's pretty easy to just change the direction. Let me show you how. To make the ladybug go left, I'm going to move this a little bit. There's some tools over here. To make it flip, so it looks like it's going left, there's this tool here. And actually, if I get my thing out of the way, it says flip horizontally. If I click that, ta-da, now I have a ladybug that's going left. Easy. For ladybug up and down, you can use this rotation tool. If I click it, now I have a ladybug that goes up. And if I click down here, I can rotate a couple times until the ladybug's going down. Now, if you want, you can change this and make it look more overhead, or, you can redraw if you want. But this is one easy way to change the directions. Then you got to go back to your code. Because remember, right now, first off, it's not going to be happy because I changed the name of the animation and I haven't changed it here. So ladybug, I'm going to start with ladybug right, reset, run. Oh, why aren't we happy? 200, 200, white background, bug. Why is it not happy? Let me try a different ladybug. I'm going to try refreshing the page because sometimes, there it is. Sometimes something doesn't work right. Try refreshing. So mine stopped working quite right. I refreshed and now it's working. Go figure. So if I reset, now I have it. Ladybug left is what it's starting with. I can have it so that if I push right, it's going to move right, and down, it'll move down. But now I need to change the animation. So instead of just saying when the right key is pressed, move to the right, I also want it to change the animation. So I'm going to say, okay, bug animation, I'll change it to ladybug right. And then here, same thing, bug animation, I'm going to change it to down. So ladybug down. Now, let me start over. If I press the right key, look at how cute that is. It moves to the right and then down. It moves down. You need to do this for all 4 directions. So right, left, up, down. That was not the right. Yeah, I'm not going to motion. So all 4 directions, and then you're done. You can play with this more. You can do a different bug. But yeah, this is basically what you're doing for this, and then you're done. I will be taking a look at this, so make sure you get this fixed and working properly. And I think that's it. The rest of the lessons are optional for you guys, so you can do the rest if you want. You don't have to, totally up to you, but you do need to at least get this lesson done. Thanks for watching.